Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll, as always. It's so great to have you with us. Topping the news tonight, it appears that incumbent Hotel Union President Nicole Martin has been returned to lead the Hotel Workers Union. Unofficial results from yesterday's poll show that Martin beat out her opponents in what union executives describe as a landslide victory. The counting of ballots went on late into the night, and it is understood that Martin's A-team secured the majority of votes throughout the country. But here on Grand Bahama, union members voted overwhelmingly for Team Destiny and Team Revolution. The official results are expected to be released tomorrow. If Martin is declared the official winner, it would make the third time Martin has been elected to the top post in the last 3 years. In other news, the government has begun the process in revolutionizing labor in the country. The hierarchy of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress heard about some of the proposed changes during a special meeting at the Grand Lucarne Resort. Joan Davis Roll has this story.
Leaders representing most of the major unions in the country convening on Grand Bahama recently for high-level talks on the state of workers in the Bahamas. The Minister of Labor, the Honorable Shane Gibson, telling members of the Trade Union Congress that significant changes are imminent as the government moves to enact laws to further protect the rights of workers.
The date of assent is imminent for the amendments to the Industrial Relations Act, removing the registration of all industrial agreements from the jurisdiction of the tribunal and placing them with the Registrar of Trade Unions. And I have already signed those documents agreeing for it to be assented on next week. Mr. President, let me be the first to say that the workers of this country owe you and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress a debt of gratitude for your staunch advocacy for the Industrial Relations Act to be amended.
Minister Gibson says the government's efforts will not stop there.
As soon as we have put in place the tripartite consultation legislation, we will move with dispatch to discuss with the social partners the much-needed amendments to the Employment Act. Additionally, the request for the renaming of Labor Day as the Sir Randolph Fox Labor Day is an active consideration. An announcement on this should be forthcoming.
President of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, Obie Ferguson, commended the government for what appears to be a new labor culture that is emerging in this country.
And the government has been very, very proactive in passing the proper legislation to remove it from the tribunal, put it where it really ought to have been all along. That's with the Registrar of Trade Unions. And now those unions, like Pedro Union and other unions, the Electrical Workers Union, and a number of unions that have not been able to register the agreement. As yet, the minister said he has done all the protocol to make sure everything is in order, and within a short period of time, these unions will now be able to register the agreement, and the agreement will now be enforceable. And for that, I think the minister and the government ought to be given a lot.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Joan. Well, in other news, the family of the late Job Munnings continues to mourn his untimely death. The young artist was shot and killed by police in Abaco, and while the Commissioner of Police has reportedly admitted to a case of mistaken identity, the family believes their concerns are falling on deaf ears. Now, tonight, several local activists are joining forces to assist the family in their fight for justice. Sabrina Brown reports.
We are calling for a swift report from the coroner's court, just like the swift one that Mr. John Travolta got his son in 2009.
President of Operation Justice Troy Garvey says the family of Job Munnings, also known as Versatile, has yet to receive any answers from the relevant authorities after he was mistakenly shot and killed by police in Abaco several weeks ago. Garvey says on Friday he accompanied two of Job's sisters on a trip to Abaco as they seek to find out the truth surrounding their brother's death. He says an eyewitness gave this account of the tragic incident.
On the entrance of him and his friend into this abandoned building area, not exactly in the building, they came to a track road, and Mr. Munnings asked the young man, "You ever been in here before?" And he said, "No, by Versatile." I ain't never been in this building. So if those police officers were already there, and they were staking out, and it was quiet, and these gentlemen had to heard when Carlos Alvarez said, no versatile. So the police officers never questioned, never asked them, never summoned them to get on the ground or stop it where they were going. And so his name was called Versatile. So how could that be mistaken identity?
After uncovering this latest bit of information, the community activist says they attempted to speak with police on that island.
The police would not entertain us. When we went to the Marsh Harbor police station, Inspector Noel said we couldn't get a report. While in Abaco, we met with the Member of Parliament for North Abaco, Mr. Renato Curry, who assured the family, in my presence, that he would see to it that this unfortunate matter receives the attention of the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Human rights activist Joe Darville says they will continue their probe into this case until justice is served.
We are connected to many international human rights organizations, beginning with the Caribbean Human Rights Network and the Lawyers Group out of New York, as well as Amnesty International. In accord with that as well, we will, if we do not get proper answers, we will take this directly to the Human Rights Division of the Organization of American States.
Leader of Families for Justice, Reverend Glenroy Bethel, is demanding that appropriate action be taken against the police officers involved.
The officers that were involved, all of those officers, we understand, is still in active duty, and we demand that they be put on administrative leave. When something like this occurs in our country, there's no way that it can be your business as usual.
The group plans to call for a commission of inquiry into the death of Job Munnings and others who have suffered similar fate. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Now, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Emerick Seymour, confirmed this afternoon the matter is now in the hands of the coroner's court. Any further inquiries should be directed to the coroner's office. Tonight, the family of Grand Bahama's first homicide victim is sending an appeal. This as the search continues for the person or persons responsible for his death. Joan Davis Roll reports.
And you know the person who is responsible for his death. Yes.
It is a mystery that for weeks the Outen family has been praying about, but now they're moving in faith that their prayers to find their loved one's killer will be answered. Family of the late 51-year-old Christopher Outen, who was shot to death in January of this year in Deadman's Reef, West Grand Bahama, is making this public appeal. Spokesman for the family, Pastor Simeon Outen.
The family and friends of the late Christopher Outen is offering a reward of $25,000, information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for his death, which occurred here on the island at Grand Bahama, Saturday, January 19. I also wish to add that the family, we've set up an account at Commonwealth Bank, and the account number is 70550-50527. We are also asking persons wishing to assist us in adding a contribution to the account. The Outen family will be greatly appreciated for whatever contribution.
Pastor Outen noted that while the family commends the police for their efforts, the latest move is their way of joining forces with the authorities.
We are confident as a family in the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and we are absolutely convinced that they are doing a stellar job, and we know that they have their job to do, and so we are trying to assist them in this way in the hope that our plea would cause someone to make a phone call and help them in the work that they are doing.
Standing with the grieving family in their quest for answers is the Grand Bahama Christian Council, Council President Bishop Arnold Pinder Jr.
We believe that somebody on this island know exactly how Chris was killed. And we are making a special appeal. We will continue to pray, and we know that prayers works. And so we are here to give our full support to this family. Not because this family is popular, but it is our job that justice will prevail, and we know that one day the truth will save us.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Now tonight, police say their investigation into the January 19th murder of Christopher Oughton remains active. Police officials are renewing their appeal as well for persons with information on the murder of 50-year-old Christopher Oughton to contact the nearest police station. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.